Hello dear students, welcome to English class. I hope you all well. Today we will do first poem of Beehive, The Road Not Taken. This poem is written by Robert Frost. This is the first poem of the book Beehive of class 9. Before starting the poem, let us know about of March 1874. He was an American poet. He is well known for his realistic writings of rural life and his use of American informal speech. His poems were often set in rural life in New England in the early 20th century and used these settings to look at complex social and philosophical themes. Frost has often been quoted by other people. He was honored often during his lifetime, receiving four Pulitzer Prizes for poetry. So we can say that Robert Frost usually wrote in his poetry about rural life, but through expressing the rural life, through describing the rural life, he usually touches the real life aspects. Theme of the poem. First theme of the poem is problem of choice. Obviously, when we are given many choices, we always face some problems what to choose and what not to choose. Here also, the poet gives us many ideas regarding the choices because this is also a truth of life that when we have to choose one from the given choices, we always feel a little bit complexed. We always feel a little bit confused. What should we do? What should we choose? And the second theme of the poem is problem of decision making. So first of all, choice is tough before many choices. And second thing, how to decide. The problem of decision coming life. Therefore, decision making is a very important task and no doubt very problematic too. Let us read the poem, The Road Not Taken. In the first stanza of the poem, the poet says, two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveller, long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. So in this stanza, there are some words which are quite little bit difficult like diverged, yellow wood, undergrowth. The meaning of diverged is separated and took different directions. Yellowwood means the forest where autumn season is going on, and because of the autumn season, the whole forest is full of yellow leaves. Therefore, the forest is being called yellow forest. Next comes the undergrowth. It means the dense growth of plants and bushes. So the explanation of the stanza. In this stanza, the poet says that once he was walking down a road and there was a diversion. There were two different paths and he had to choose one of them. The poet says that as he was one person, he could travel on one road only. The poet kept standing there and looked at both the paths very carefully as far as he could see. It means the poet is facing a problem in choice because he has been given the choice from two roads. As the road in the jungle diverged into two, in the next stanza, the poet says, then took the other just as fair. He took the other as just as fair and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as for that the passing there had worn them really about the same. So in this stanza, The words are tough, like the previous one, as just as fair means equally good. Both the roads were equally good. Better claim. So, what was the better option from both of them? Promise of better future. Obviously, when we want to choose anyone, we just want to make our choice the better than the other. Wanted wear means which is less traveled road, and the passing there walking on the road. So, in this stanza, the poet wants to say to us that he decided to take the other path. From the two roads, the poet decided to take the other path, the other road, because it seemed to be less traveled by than the first one. But then he goes on to say that they actually were very similar. So both the things going on in poet's mind. One, about the choice, and second, his confusion is also being seen there when he says that he goes on to say that they actually were very similar. So the poet is not able to decide, but ultimately he decided to take the other part, the second road, not the first one. He realizes that they were really about the same. Not exactly the same, but about the same. Means and they were not the leaves were not trodden by many travelers. So in the morning, the both roads were looking same because of being covered by the leaves. In the next stanza, the poet says that, and both that morning equally lay, in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I keep the first for another day. Yet knowing how way leads on to the way, I doubted if I should ever come back. So the poet says, no step had trodden black. It means there are leaves which had not been crushed under the feet of the traveler. Still, they are on the road as they were during the falling. Way leads on to the way. It means one road leads to another. When one way gets its end, it always leads to the another path. So in this stanza, the poet says that both the paths were similar in the morning, but both of them, both because both of them covered with untrodden leaves. He feels that no one had walked on either of those two roads that morning. Therefore, the roads were looking same. Leaves had not been crushed even. The poet chose the second road, and he kept the other road for some other days. But he knew very well that once he moved on the second road, it would not be possible for him to come back and try the first road as one way leads to another, and so on. The poet kept the other road for some other day, but he knew that one path leads to another path, and there him at that time. In the next stanza, the poet says, I shall be telling this with a sigh. Somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less travelled by, and that has made all the difference. So, the poet says, sigh. Sigh means deep breathe. Sigh can be positive as well as negative. Ages and ages hence means years later, in future. So, in the stanza, the poet explains that after taking his decision, he thinks of the possible outcome. He is not sure what future holds for him. He does not know whether he will be sad or happy in the future for choosing the road that had been traveled by less number of people. Because the poet is not sure. Nobody knows the future. When we take any decision of our life, we do not know what would be the result of that decision in future. So like this, the poet also not able to know at that moment that what would be the future of him after the choice, after the selection of the road. So here sigh can be a sigh of relief or sigh of regret. So the poet was not able to tell at that moment even. It means years and years later, what would be the result? It's not known to anybody else. The poet might be, the poet might be happy as well as, so the poet also not able to understand. Might be possible that he would tell this choice, he would tell about his choice to some other traveler after many years, that he chose the second road, and whatever the life he is spending at present was the result of that choice. So let us know about the rhyme scheme of the poem. In this poem, the rhyme scheme is A B A A B. Come to know how to rhyme scheme work. When we concentrate on the last word of each line of a stanza, for example, stanza 1, that is would, both, stood, could, undergrowth. Would, stood, and could are rhyming words as they end with the same sound. Though. So the rhyme scheme is A B A A B. So the rhyme scheme of the poem is A B A A B. Literary devices also there are some used in the poem. First is alliteration. Alliteration means repetition of words beginning with the same sound in a line. For example, wanted wear. W sound is repeated. First four here F sound is repeated. Though that the sound is repeated. So there is alliteration used in the poem. Repetition is also used, like ages is repeated in second line in stanza 4. Two roads diverged in a wood. This sentence is repeated in stanza 1 as well as in stanza 4. So repetition is also there. Now, the meaning of the poem is as it is, we have already discussed about the poet that Robert Frost usually used the simple things of life, belong to rural life, and wants to describe something symbolic from the real situations. So the poem is also symbolic poem. Here road symbolizes the journey of life, and two roads symbolizes the alternatives or options, as we have already discussed about the theme of the poem, that the poem is based on the theme of problem of choice. So here the two roads are symbolize, two roads symbolize the choices, options we come across in our life. We usually come across in our life about the choices. Such situations occur in everyone's life. Me, you, and everybody. We face this situation. Definitely become confused when we have to take a vital decision, but we have multiple options. So after giving multiple options, to decide the best one from them is usually a difficult task for everyone. Here the road is not taken. The road not taken is a path we do not choose. Here in the poem, the poet chose one road from the given two, and the road which he left, that road was not taken. On that basis, it means the choice which we give, we not choose, the options which we not choose. That means the road not taken. The message of the poem is Robert Frost's poem, The Road Not Taken, conveys an important message to us. As life is a continuous journey which is full of divergence now and then, we have to take important decisions. Our decisions determine the course of life. They shape our future. The right decision lead us to success, whereas one wrong decision can ruin our life. So it is imperative for us to make right choices. It is very important for all of us that we should try to select the right choice for us, so that we can face uh, success in our coming life. We must remember that our decision may have far reaching consequences. This is not a short term decision. Sometime in life, when on the every um, corner of life, or you can say every terminal point of life, we are always given some choices, and that must think of all the pros and cons. We must think of all the points, all the do's or don'ts, and we should take any decision only and only after due deliberation. Due deliberation means after thinking a lot of things, after thinking all the points regarding the choice, regarding our decision. That that only can make our life comfortable, and that is the real decision, or that is the real need of life, that whenever we are given the choices, whenever we are given the options, whenever we are at the point of taking some decision, some important decision, we should be very very careful in our decisions. So, dear students, that is the poem The Road Not Taken. I hope you have understood the poem. If you watch this video again and again, definitely you will understand. In our life also, we are also given many choices at, at every terminal point. But we should be always careful, we should be always thankful, and we should always be very alert in the selection of our choice or in our decision making, because our coming life is dependent on our choices, our coming life is dependent on our decisions. It can be full of happiness or it can be full of sadness. So one should be very careful in our in his choice making, in his decision making. Thank you.